Hi everyone. I have a beautiful lesson for you today, and the lesson is called I'm entitled to miracles. And the way he expresses that so beautifully in this lesson is you're entitled to miracles because of what you are. It was given to you in your creation. It's your birthright, right? As a son of God. However, it's not what you think it is, right? As he so beautifully says, this has nothing to do with how you define yourself. It has nothing to do with magical powers. It is, as he so beautifully describes it, a miracle is a correction in thought. It's a correction inserted into false thinking to align you with truth, right? To bring about that shift from illusions to truth, from false thinking into thinking with the universe, right? It's a real experience when you experience that within your mind. That shift is like you're suddenly present, right? You're suddenly aware of something that you weren't aware before. And many of us who have been practicing Course in Miracles, of course, have been applying this in everything we do throughout the day. And a good example of this, for instance, is how you're being faced the entire day with obstacles, with issues, with problems, right? And your first um, tendency then as a human being is to solve them, right? Because you have set a goal for yourself and you're going to not let anything interfere with that. So your constant drive is to overcome problems, right? To solve problems, to overcome these obstacles. And it's exhausting, right? Because it never stops, and you're also not going to be happy with it because you'll never really get the outcome that you want. And even if you do get the outcome that you want, it's not really what you want, if you know what I mean, if you can hear that, right? So the practice then becomes one of stepping back and letting it be resolved for you. In other words, you're being confronted with something that seems to be for that moment an issue. And instead of immediately trying to solve it, overcome it, you step back and you ask for help. One of the most beautiful lines in the Course in Miracles is, what you've never really done is give all your problems to the Holy Spirit and let Him take care of it for you. Because if you do, you see how easily they all fall away. Now, for those of you who've done that and are doing that on a daily basis, you know that that is true. And you know how indeed everything, and I mean without exception, right, is being taken care of for you. That sounds like some kind of new age thing, but this is a true experience. When you give over, um, your life to that particular converting, correcting energy, and you let it take care of that for you by simply stepping back and asking for help. That's that shift in perception, that shift in thought that A Course in Miracles is trying to bring about. So that you stop screaming, I want it thus, right? That you stop asserting your view of the world on what you think it is, and instead step back and let it be rearranged for you. And once you do that, you'll see you'll never have to strive for anything again, because striving is after your self identity, right? That's you trying to, right, make it into your own perfect dream. But that's not the purpose of it. There's another purpose of the world, right? So you step back, and when you do that and you ask for help, for those of you who do it on a regular basis, you know how easily everything gets done for you. So that then becomes a practice. Ask for help, step back. Most of the time, I even do that and then kind of forget about it. And afterwards, I think about, oh, wait a minute, that got solved for me so easily. I didn't even think about it anymore, right? So that's a really nice practice. So when you go out into the day to day, try that, right? Instead of getting frustrated and overcoming and battling and all that stuff, ask for it. What does this mean, right? How can I look upon this differently? I need help with this, and then let it be rearranged for you. There's a rest and a peace that comes from this that's absolutely undescribable, right? There's a rest coming from the no longer having a need to constantly strive and struggle and fight against whatever you think are your problems. So yeah, you are entitled to miracles. Because let me just read one or two lines before I'm going to keep this a short video, but one or two lines Because he says, your claim to miracles does not lie in your illusions about yourself. Love that. It doesn't depend on any magical powers that you've ascribed to yourself, nor on any of the rituals you have devised. It is inherent in the truth of what you are. Fact, right? Fact. A miracle is a correction. Remember, it is implicit in what God your Father is. It was ensured in your creation and guaranteed by the laws of God. What else do you need to know? Right? You are completely entitled of miracles, not because of what you think you are, but because of what you are. Right? They're net near, but somewhere in the beginning he says miracles are natural. If they do not occur, something has gone wrong. In other words, miracles happen all the time. He says a miracle stands to in every circumstance, in shining silence, and it's just a matter of you being aware of it, because miracles are seen in light, right? So when you are aware of it, you can use them. If you're not aware of it, you can't use them. I don't know how else to express that. I hope that makes sense. I hope you can hear that. But many of you out there, I know, are indeed are using that correction, not to get what you want, but to simply fulfill your function. Getting what you want is striving, that's your ego, that's your self identity. But instead of getting what you want, because remember, you never know what you want, right? You have no idea what's in your own best interest. But stepping back and proceeding throughout the day in that new consciousness and that new mindset, and let every obstacle that you're being confronted with simply fall away without any effort by asking for help, by stepping back, which is a continuous action of mind. But as you make that your own, it becomes effortless. It becomes also second nature. It'll become your first reaction to everything as opposed to trying to solve it. I'm going to keep this video short, but I hope that helps. I love you. Have a great, great day wherever, whenever you are. And I'll see you out there.